because there's like three things that happen right before the big action sequence, that are all like directly causally related, right? So the first thing is they're walking back. They have this one good night where they sleep by a waterfall and they find mushrooms, and it's like really peaceful. It's still freezing. Like, but there's one thing to say that we haven't said out loud. It's the middle of winter, and they're constantly cold. It's constantly raining and snowing. They're always on the verge of starvation. They're always on the verge of freezing to death. They have this one good night by the waterfall, and you get like a little bit of wasteland survival guide type thinking from the man, where he's like, oh, like we can't stay here too long because the waterfall is like an attraction that'll attract other people, and like it probably already has, and like he does this apocalypse calculus that I thought Darth would enjoy. It was very literal and logical. And after that, they're walking, and they come upon like a figure in the road, which is what prompts the man to throw away his wallet, including the picture of his wife. The description of this guy is really important, because this might be a zombie, right? That's just to say that out loud. This is on. I've got this on 32 of the EPUB. They backtracked and camped in the actual road, and when they went on in the morning, the macadam had cooled. By and by, they came to a set of tracks cooked into the tar. They just suddenly appeared. He squatted and studied them. Someone had come out of the woods in the night and continued down the melted roadway. Who is it? Said the boy. I don't know. Who is anybody? So this is probably the truck that we're about to see later on. They came upon him shuffling along the road before them. This is the man's tracks in the burning tar. They came upon him shuffling along the road before them, dragging one leg slightly and stopping from time to time to stand stooped and uncertain before setting out again. What should we do, Papa? We're all right. Let's just follow and watch. Take a look, the boy said. Yes, take a look. They followed him a good ways, but at his pace they were losing the day, and finally he just sat in the road and did not get up again. The boy hung on to his father's coat. No one spoke. He was as burnt-looking as the country. His clothing scorched and black. One of his eyes was burnt shut, and his hair was but a nitty wig of ash upon his blackened skull. As they passed, he looked down, as if he'd done something wrong. His shoes were bound up with wire and coated with road tar, and he sat there in silence, bent over in his rags. The boy kept looking back. Papa? He whispered. What is wrong with that man? He's been struck by lightning. Can't we help him, Papa? No. We can't help him. The boy kept pulling at his coat. Papa? He said. Stop it. Can't we help him, Papa? No. We can't help him. There's nothing to be done for him. Now, it's probably not a zombie, but it's fucking devastating. It's just
and I'm
rough.
I'm just gonna ruin that entire tone, because now that we've got you going, Papa, I want to get the other clip of you going, are you my mummy? And I'm just gonna put those back to back and have David going, Papa, are you my mummy?
Very confusing attribution. He's saying some weird shit these days, y'all. 2026 really got to him.
Well, yes. No, it's this book. I'm trying to find something to laugh at, so there you are.
it kind of is a bit like that, isn't it? Where you're like, man, any humor would be great. Yeah, it's pretty brutal.
Well, I mean, this is sort of darkly comic. Like, is getting struck by lightning in the apocalypse. Like, that's fucking unlucky, you know.
Well, okay. Here's the thing. Is that what happened? Okay, so I've thought about this.
Yeah, the description sounds pretty accurate.
Well, whether he was actually struck by lightning or if the forest, like, because there's a forest fire, right? That's been raging, because that's what he was having his moment of beauty about before. My theory about this, if you want it to feel less absurd than being struck by lightning, is that the forest was struck by lightning, which set it on fire, which is what eventually consumed this guy, as the fire. And the man literalizes that to he was struck by lightning. And he could also you could also read that as him being like, yeah, this is the most unlucky son of a bitch to be caught in the forest during this forest fire. He's struck by lightning, using it in the expressionistic sense. Or he was literally struck by lightning. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like that's not implausible. Because they're traveling along the highways and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And like it's likely that you're the most elevated thing if you're walking on a stretch of highway. I find that I can see that happening.
Actually,
And people do get struck by lightning.
Yeah. I mean, I personally, my personal belief, because he comes stumbling out of the forest, and there's already melted tar. My theory is that he was in the forest and was either struck by lightning or was caught up in the fire. But it is also really funny to imagine him, like, you're just like a guy. You're like, fuck, man, I survived 5 years of the apocalypse. I'm on the road. I'm doing my and then just like bang out of nowhere, struck by lightning. You rolled like a 1 on your luck saving throw.
Also, the other thing is that if you're trying to do good by this kid, you should have at least put on a show of helping that guy. If you want to, you care about raising that kid good, you should have at least done something.
Do the House of Cards thing and just put him out of his misery, like opening shot with the dog.
But then the difficulty is that he's only got 2 bullets left, and he needs those 2 for exactly the thing that he keeps reflecting. Oh yeah, true. You could always strangle the kid. Oh, strangle the man. It's dark that I went to strangle the kid.
We don't kill kids. We've talked about this time and time again.
We don't. The Zero Indent Review and the Zero Indent Company does not officially condone murdering children. And it's crazy that we have to keep saying that, but it does come up somehow every episode. I choose to think that he's playing this like he's he's the main character in like a stalker video game, where like the energy that would be required of him to stop and help this guy would mean that he would probably starve to death because he's only got enough food to get him to the next location to loot to find food. Like he's playing a survival horror game. He can't be stopping to help people, man.
Well, it's also more of a risk because even this dude's got no energy left, right? That's why he's just sitting in the middle of the road. But if you start actively killing him, then he biologically will get enough of a burst of energy to potentially hurt you. So it's more of a risk to try to put him out of his misery than it is just to let him die naturally. What I think is interesting, if I'm allowed to be really literal, the guy's shoes, it says that they're wrapped up with barbed wire, which would take away the like electrical isolating rubber and would fully ground him to the lightning. So where he might not normally be struck, the fact that they have a line about him wrapping his feet with metal kind of makes the lightning more believable.
Yeah, do you think that like Cormac McCarthy just like was at the bar one day and someone was telling him a crazy story about someone they knew getting struck by lightning because they like had like metal on their feet or something? You know what I mean? Or like
yeah,
it kind of has that vibe.
It sounds like something that happened.
Yeah, it's real awful energy.
My immediate thought is like for ice. So you can get grips and stuff like that.
Oh, that makes so much sense. Yeah, like snowshoes.
Well, I've heard people doing that. Yeah, like making makeshift snowshoes out of barbed wire. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, why he did it? Because initially, I thought at first I was like, "What is that? Just holding his shoes together?" Because that seems like you could have found something else that was maybe less painful than walking on barbs. But for ice, it makes absolute sense. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good. This is what I'm talking about with this book, where it's like, again, this scene when I first read it, I was like, I don't know what happened there. Like I can tell you what happened, like, and when I write the summary, right? But like, I don't know what happened, and like, any of those things could be true, and that's just delightful to me. It's probably the thing Pat said, but you can choose to read it in a number of ways.
It's also interesting to point out that the dude was so Maybe his like entire nervous system was like shutting down because his like feet were melting into the molten concrete, and he just kept walking. Like he didn't sense the danger like the man and the boy do, and they stop and wait for it to cool, but he's just walking through and leaving his footprints. And so you got to imagine the shoes were probably melted to his skin at this point, you know?
Yeah. That's kind of how I imagine it as well.